This is Kevin Burke, and you're listening to the Ireland Podcast.
Hello, welcome to the Ireland Podcast. This is Fender Jackson. The time is 4:13 p.m. Galway time on Tuesday, January the 7th, 2025.
So is Galway like always 2 minutes ahead of everybody else?
No, it's about 2 hours behind Dublin.
No, but I've got 11 minutes past. So that must be my computer. All right, whatever. Yeah, fine.
Yeah. Oh, okay. It could be my watch. Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay.
I think it's your watch.
Okay, so you're right. It's 4:12. I need to update my watch. On Tuesday the 7th of January 2025. And I am in Galway, and I'm on the phone to this man. Who are you and what do you do?
My name's James Fearnley. I have played the accordion pretty much, not all my life. I started playing the accordion when I was 27, 28. And I've been playing the accordion for the Pogues ever since then. I had a stint with a group in Los Angeles called the Low Sweet Orchestra. Then I had another stint with a group called Cranky George in Los Angeles as well. And now I'm doing another stint with a group called the Walker Roaders, playing the accordion, singing and stuff. And this brings me here today now.
James, thanks very much for affording me your time. We've been trying to do this for a long time.
We have, yeah, I know, yeah. It's taken a while.
Yeah. You know those television ads that you see over an hour? Telecommercials, is that what they used to be called?
Sorry, what commercials?
Television commercials. So it's like a commercial that lasts on TV for about an hour.
Commercials last for an hour? Well, nobody would watch television if that was the case.
In USA, I was in USA, and you'd watch this thing on TV, and it's advertising a product that's for an hour. Anyway,
they have, like the where they sell jewellery and shit like that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of see that this is a pod commercial for your book, Here Comes Everybody, The Story of the Pogues.
Well, we don't have to lavish an hour of attention on the book. I'm not saying it took me 5 minutes to write or anything. It took me quite a long time to write. If indeed I was writing it already by the time I joined the Pogues in 1982. But yeah, it took up a lot of energy. But I don't think we should devote an hour to flogging that.
We won't. But allow me to sing its praises from time to time, because
thank you.
I thought it was a masterpiece. I really did.
Well, can I just say steady on a bit? I don't think it's a masterpiece. I once, after one of the shows that we did, maybe 10 years ago, just after the book had come out, I wandered into the hospitality suite, the bar actually, after one of the gigs in one of the places in England. And this guy came out of nowhere and says, "You must have balls of steel." For having written the book.
Yeah.
So, I need a slap in the face for having written it, I think, but on one level. But on other levels, it was really, really great fun to do.
I bet. So I'm going to dip in and out of the book. I think the book is, I'll say it again, it's a masterpiece. And the reason why I say that is because you fill in so many gaps with such detail of your journey throughout the Pogues, and it's not like just a regular story, a regular biography. It's actually a bit of a story. It's got a total arc to it, and a big finale at the end. It's just gripping from start to the end.
Wow! All right.
Yeah.
Well, I took a leaf out of the page of not that I've read the book actually, which is a bit of a confession. I can't even think what the book's called now. But Gregory Peck was in it, the book, the film of the book.
Yeah.
And it was called, I can't remember what it was called. But to start with how the shards of a vase lying on the floor and then you basically put it back together and to see what it was that broke it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's cool because anybody who's interested, I think that's a sample. The opening chapter, or at least 5 minutes of it, is a sample. It's free on Amazon, and that's how I got into it.
Oh, as an audio sample, obviously. Yeah. Oh, I had no idea that you could actually do that, but yeah.
I should probably explain. I haven't read the book. I've only listened to you reading it to me.
You never read it?
I've listened to you reading it to me. I had the
Jesus,
audio.
how can you suffer that for however long? I mean, I put Brad Wood, who Brad Wood, I must say, is one of my greatest friends. He suffered my voice reading that damn book for hours and hours on end, longer than it would take you to listen to it, because we had to go over it and over it and over it again in his studio up in the valley, over the hills from here. Brad Wood is a renowned film record producer in his own right. He recorded Liz Phair back in the 80s and tons of other people, and he's been a stalwart friend for a long time, bass player with me for quite a long time too. And he said, I do one pro bono thing a year, and let's do Here Comes Everybody, recording it, and he's suffered for days on end. Anyway.
How long did it take you?
I'm going to say... a couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's fast or what you would expect, but it's surprisingly hard work actually.
Yeah.
Because you have to eat a lot of Granny Smith's apples to keep your saliva going in your mouth, and also licorice was handy because I read up about it before I started recording it with Brad. And somebody recommended licorice and Granny Smith's apples, and also to put a pillow on your stomach just in case you start gurgling. I didn't have to do that as it happened, but I had one to stand by just in case. And to stand in a room and talk to yourself and your friend for, as I say, days on end. I don't know how we got through it.
I think it probably seems about the right time, I think, because it took me about 2 weeks maybe to listen to it, because I'm doing other things and I'm dipping in and out, yeah. But I absolutely loved it. I loved your impressions. You're a fantastic impressionist.
No, I don't. I think some people might have an argument with that. But I mean, I've lived with those voices, for a long time. I'm not saying I got everybody completely down. Spider was difficult to do. Shane, it was all right if you want to make a kind of I can't think what the word is when you
characterization.
Yeah, but it's a bit more than just a characterization. I made him a bit of a cartoon. Vocally. It's hard, but I thought I would just try it on anyway. I've got a bit of the thespian gene in me from my dad, who was an amateur dramatic player in after the war in just outside Manchester, where he was a sort of leading theatrical light for lots of people in the amateur dramatic circles back then.
Yeah, so you have the voices, which I thought were excellent. Also, the description of your characters. You open in the book. I was laughing at Terry's hair like a busted mattress. For example.
A busted horsehair mattress, maybe possibly. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, you had very coily hair. You could do a flower arrangement in it.
Yeah, and Andrew's mouth being lipless, a lipless line or something.
Oh wow! All right. Yeah.
Yeah, there was some fascinating descriptions. It actually, I was doing some work around. It was around James Joyce. It was Bloomsweek whenever I was listening to it, and Joyce just came to my head every so often whenever you went into
Well,
descriptions
I'm going to
of
say
people.
steady on again. Jesus Christ. I just wrote a book. That's all I did. Okay. Can we keep James Joyce out of it? Yeah, so I had a lot of fun. I do have a lot of fun reading people like James Joyce and a ton of other people for their turn of phrase and the way they describe things and their originality. And I wanted to bring whatever I could of my talents to a similar sort of thing. There's no way I could ever approach James Joyce's rendering of life at all. I just wanted to do the best that I could from being so sort of impressed and enraptured by writers like that. Really.
I could definitely see. Okay, I'm not saying it's as good as, but certainly could see the influences.
I think I'd be safer to go along with the with the influences, because that's I did, as I probably described in the book as well. I went up to the top of my block of flats and went through Ulysses from beginning to end. Over a summer, sort of dedicated myself to it, and Finnegan's Wake, I didn't really get into that too much, only in bits. I remember finding recordings of Joyce reading bits of Anna Olivia Plurabelle from Finnegan's Wake, and that was about as much as I could do to listen to him reciting it. It was that was a lot of fun. I'm just going to take my headphones off a minute because my jumper is making me really hot in this room. So hang on a minute.
Sure.
I think we must have the heating on this house or something, and it's a very small room and it gets hot really quick. Anyway, here I am.
Joyce said he spent 19 years writing Finnegan's Wake, and he suggested it should take you 19 years to read it too.
Okay. I don't think I've got 19 years left, so I'm not going to start.
Yeah, you can listen to it and fast forward.
Or I'll listen to it on you can do 1.5 times speed or twice speed.
Yeah,
which is when I got this, like, a sample myself from audible.com to listen to my book, and I'd inadvertently put it on double speed, and I had to write to them and say, you know what, you're making me sound like Mickey Mouse here. This is not okay. Until it was pointed out to me that I was listening to it faster than it should be listened to. Anyway. Yeah.
So, James, for the purposes of today's conversation, what I would love to do is go through Red Roses, your life up to Red Roses, and then Red Roses track by track. How does that sound to you?
Yeah, cool. Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And then seeing how you feel after this year, if you want to do another album or 4.
Well, I won't be doing another album or 4. We could see what happens after that. I mean, it depends how quickly you want to get through Red Roses. For me, it's I wouldn't say it was a particularly dense LP to talk about. There might be some things that it prompts. You know what I mean? So we can have a go. Yeah.
Okay. So where and when did life begin for you?
I was born when I was very young. That's Gerard Hoffnung, as I remember. It was, so I was born in Worsley, Manchester, which is maybe 4 or 5 miles outside Manchester itself. I think it could be described as a twee sort of place. Bits of it. Middle class upbringing I had. Went to the local primary school. It was the beginning, the first canal that was ever dug for the purposes of transporting anything in the United Kingdom was started at Worsley and went to Manchester, and it reduced the price of coal by a half. So it kind of one of the kickstarters of the Industrial Revolution. The tunnels for the coal mines went under the primary school that I went to. So it's like a hub of the Industrial Revolution right there, even though there's black and white mock Tudor houses. And there was a lot of industry there, you know, back in the 1800s and before probably. But now it's basically a motorway interchange is what it turned into, with a bit of land on the far side from the house that I did some of my growing up in, which is the Royal Horticultural Society. They were going to change it into a fucking golf course. There is a golf course there anyway. We're going to change it into, I don't know, like a casino or something at one point, but now it's a Royal Horticultural Society, so they made the right decision there. Otherwise, it's just intertwining motorways from Leeds to Liverpool and to Birmingham and stuff. Bit of a snag, really. Anyway, so I was born there. I went away to boarding school when I was 11, a Quaker school in Yorkshire, from 66 to 71. Failed my A-levels, retook them back in Worsley, and I went down to London to Ealing Technical College, where I'm to understand that Freddie Mercury was a student there before my time, or maybe after it, I don't know. And Pete Townsend was supposed to be a student there too before my time. And then after that, I just started doing auditions and stuff for playing the guitar with bands, and that's basically my life, up until then.
And you went to Tech in London. What did you want to study there?
It was I started out with modern economic studies, it was called, because I thought, well, there was some sort of discernible pressure from my dad, who was, I suppose, I do describe him in the book as a captain of industry. He was he ran a building construction company in Salford that my grandfather actually started in 1906.
Is it still going?
No, lamentably, it's not. It folded in 1998, which was a bit of a drag. If only because of what it did to the family, you know what I mean, more than anything else. There was some family dynamics in there that were a bit shit. I think because my dad was such a captain of industry, I felt like there was some requirement somewhere that I could perceive that made sense to me to study economics. But that's just not my thing at all. I found out in 6 weeks. So somebody said to me, why don't you just change courses and do humanities instead? So I did, and that's so much more up my alley than statistics or history or anything like that, really.
How did you venture into the world of music? At what point was that?
That was, I was a choir boy when I was 10 and 11. Well, I was actually a choir boy when I was, the end of my 11th year. I think the headmaster at my primary school heard my voice somehow with, amongst all the other kids there, and I was made a soloist. And then I went across the way to St Mark's Church of England church to be in the choir there, to do solos and stuff, because my voice was really good. And then when I went away to school, boarding school, I was also the soloist who did the, Once in Royal David City at the carol service 2 years running, and then my voice started to break after that. So that's the music thing, was singing. I picked up guitar when I was 14. These guys in the kids at school wanted to put a band together, and there was a guy who had a drum kit already, and this other kid went away and for the summer holidays earned enough money to buy a guitar, and I was told to go and earn enough money to buy a bass. But my family said, no, you shouldn't specialise so soon in your musical career. So I came back with a Spanish acoustic guitar and had to sit in the corner and just thrash away on it while these two other guys had a lot of fun with drums and electric guitar. And piano lessons as well. I did piano lessons when I was a 10-year-old and 11-year-old and tracked that in when I was 13.
And the piano lessons, were they classical, jazz?
Yeah, they would be. You know, all your standards, you know, Bach and so on and so forth, yeah. And then once I'd finished with... I got out of piano lessons because I really didn't enjoy them. And then I just went back to... Because at school we had a music wing with pianos in little rooms all the way down a corridor. So I'd just go back in there and just play piano by myself and make shit up.
So you moved to London.
Mm-hmm.
Please explain your link with Culture Club.
So I got into the Nips with Shane and Shanne Bradley and a guy called, oh God, what's his name? Terry, the drummer, and I was told that I was the 5th guitarist that they'd had, and that they were currently playing with the 10th drummer. And then Terry left, and we auditioned. Oh God, what's his name? Well, obviously the Culture Club drummer,
John Moss.
Yeah, John Moss. So they auditioned John Moss, and John Moss came into the group. Really, very, very good drummer. Although he didn't. We did a gig at the Music Machine, opening for the Jam, and I think it was Shane's idea that we should all wear nighties or something for this show. So we did, but it was very difficult to get John Moss into a nightie for some reason. He did in the end. And then once the Nips had finished, John got in touch with me to ask me if I wanted to listen, if I wouldn't mind listening to a demo or something that he'd been doing with a band that he'd found himself in, called Culture Club. So me and him listened to this demo, because the guitar player that they had at that time, I don't know if that's the guitar player that they went forward with, that John was not totally okay with this guy's playing. I wanted to see if I could do anything, and anyway I never heard back from him, so thank God. Actually, I don't think I would have enjoyed a stint in Culture Club.
It's funny, whenever Jem explained that you were destined for greater things, whenever you're doing your painting and decorating with Jem, and little did we know what was around the corner for you both.
No, little did it. No, neither of us just knew. It was that was a great sort of part of that time, was to get to know Jem and talk about music and listen to what was going on and go and have lunch with him down on Caledonian Road. And just the two of us, you know, slathering paint on this house. It never ended, this job. I'm not sure if it's finished, you know, today. I have not a clue. I think maybe waiting for us to go back.
You get the sense that he bailed you out so many times.
Oh, yeah. No, he has done. He's been such a support, Jem has, throughout my life, really, from being my best man at my wedding, and
giving you your flat.
That's right. No, indeed. No, he from the very beginning it was to sort of swipe that flat from under Shane's nose, which I don't think he ever forgave me for. Yeah, all sorts, and then also to, you know, pin me up against a van in New York and say, you know, your behaviour is not okay. You know, shape up. It's and both actually, him and Marcia have been sort of have been great with me. You know, to set me on, a base down, as it were, and top up, so that I could approach life from a decent sort of angle from time to time. Yeah, they've been great friends.
So explain how you came to be in the Pogues.
Through having been in the Nips with Shane and Shanne, then...
Well, how did that even happen?
How did that even happen? There was a call out for an audition in the Melody Maker for a band, a name band, it said. So I went up to North London. I was living in Teddington at the time. Went up to North London and played. I think what I was playing on the guitar was kind of palatable at the time for a lot of people, because I listened to Wilco Johnson and Steve Cropper and Mick, whatever his face is, from the Pirates, Mick Green. And I'm not saying I had that down, but I that's the way that I wanted to play, and that's what Shane, I think, responded to, and a few other bands here and there. They liked the kind of choppy, rhythmic, staccato kind of stuff, and I really, really enjoyed playing guitar that way. So that's what got me into the Nips. That didn't last very long. Shanne was already pregnant, so there was supposed to be like a tour or something. I'm making a record, and I said, it's okay, I'll play the bass then if you can't. She says, well, you won't be playing the bass and you won't be playing the guitar either because you're out of the band. So that was that finished with. So I spent a year and a half doing nothing. I sold my guitar and sold my amp and speakers and everything, and was going to start, writing the memoir, maybe, or writing a novel, I don't know. And then Shane sent Jem up to where I was living in Mornington Crescent, and with an accordion in a plastic bag. Say, can you give this to James? I know he'd be able to learn how to play it. Then 5 days later, we were supposed to have a rehearsal, and then a gig not so long after that, which actually never happened in the end. But 5 days later, I was down at Shane's flat on Cromer Street with Jem, the three of us, going over, songs like The Old Main Drag and Streams of Whiskey, Dark Streets of London. Can't remember what else. There's quite a few things from both the first and second LPs that we did. So that's how I got into the Pogues.
But you were a Pogue Mahone then. So explain the transition. Yeah. Explain how you became the Pogues.
That was through Kid Jensen, who was a DJ at the time. That somebody from BBC Scotland or something, rang up the BBC in London to say every time you say Pogue Mahone, you're saying kiss my ass in Irish. So I think Kid Jensen had actually already been calling us the Pogues. Maybe he knew, and then had decided to just abbreviate it. So that's how that happened. I mean, we wanted to get all sort of shirty about it and wanted to remonstrate and, calling it censorship or whatever. I don't know. Not a lot of that happened, or it was short-lived. So we just went along with it because the Pogues is, a lot easier to say than Pogue Mahone.
So you record a demo and then you go into the studio, you go into Elephant Studios in Wapping, and the producer Stan Brennan. Now, I don't know how long you spent recording Red Roses or when it was recorded. Do you have any recollection of that?
Well, I do, yeah, because I made, for the purposes of writing Here Comes Everybody, I did keep a spreadsheet of everything that we did and put it in order. I mean, I can go and look. It would take me a minute or two to find it. I should have actually just brought it up in any case. I mean, if you're interested in me going to have a look.
Yeah.
But it was in 1982.
It was released in 84.
Sorry, what?
You released it in 84. Is that right? Let me just double check.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, no, indeed. So
you recorded a demo.
It came out... we recorded demos in 82, 83 probably. Yeah, so we would have so it came out for the tour that we opened for Elvis Costello in October of 1984. So So it must have been earlier on in 1984. Let me have a quick look, see if I can find it.
Okay.
But I mean, we can keep talking while you do that.
Yeah. So, how many channels did you have? And was there any bouncing? Do you remember that?
Oh, good Lord, wow. That's getting really technical really quick.
Sorry. I'm guessing 16.
I would imagine it'd be 16 track. That's what I would have thought.
Yeah.
Let me just have a look, see where am I? Just hang on a tick.
Mm-hmm.
Pogues, what's that? No, that's not it. Pogues, no. Hang on a minute, I'll be right there.
That's all right.
You're going to edit, obviously, aren't you? No, this isn't going out.
This is a great bit. This is my favourite part of the conversation so far.
Okay, well, fine. Let me just...
don't worry.
Where is it? Here Comes Everybody is going to be under H for Here Comes Everybody. There we are. And then I'm going to go to... perhaps it's not worth doing, but not worth it. All right, I'm going to come back to you now. Sorry, what was the question?
Did you? How many tracks did you bounce?
I can't remember if we bounced at all. What we would do, obviously, is to play everything live until we got something that was acceptable to everybody. I mean, this. I'm not a very discerning sort of listener, I don't think. Well, I am actually, but I've got all my lists and everything. So, July, end of July, beginning of August, Red Roses for me at Elephant. And then maybe some before that in June. We've got question mark after that. And then we find out when we play the Fridge in Brixton on 7th of July that Stan Brennan had told us that Costello wanted us to go on tour with him. So that's around that time. So it's the summer, towards the end of summer of 1984 was when we did Red Roses for me.
Do you know how many days you spent recording and how many days you spent mixing?
Oh, Jesus. All right. Well, I've got from the 1st of August to the 24th of August. That seems awfully close to where the release is. Mixing, I've no idea. Maybe. I mean, I do say in the Here Comes Everybody that the band members' presence at mixing was not. Was not required, shall we say? But I went down anyway because I'm a busybody and I like to listen to what noises I've made, and I didn't like the idea of Stan Brennan doing it all by himself. Not that there was that much input that I could give. I mean, Stan had the studio had a new toy that Stan wanted to play with, where it seemed like he would treat every track, the drum sound from each track, with a different setting on this new toy of compression or, I don't know, echoey kind of thing. I don't know what kind of thing it was. I was baffled because that was really my first experience of actually sitting in on a mix ever. I'd done demos and whatnot, but that seemed to be fairly straightforward, that you just banged and crashed for a bit and then the following day you listened to it and made it sound like there was a group doing something, to put it roughly. Whereas to do Red Roses for me was a little bit more sophisticated, in the sense that we'd spent not a long time, but a certain amount of time recording, doing overdubs, figuring shit out, how to record certain songs. I'm thinking of the old Triangle particularly because I ended up playing the guitar on that because Shane couldn't get what we all wanted to be like a whispery kind of guitar-y thing without any beat to it. Because I played guitar all my life, that I found it a lot easier than him to follow the voice and just do this sort of whispery thing. And then also in Here Comes Everybody, there's the scene of the recording engineers putting a blanket over me to get the whispering even more whispery by recording me playing the guitar under a blanket until I took the blanket off and they were all pissing themselves in the studio. I would actually have fallen for it. Anyway, that's the kind of musician I am.
Yeah. So, Transmetropolitan, does that mean that Shane was actually playing guitar in that?
No, you're going back 40 years to see.
Yeah.
Probably. I'm sure. I mean, I made myself. I put myself forward for a lot of the guitar playing because I was good at the percussive, choppy, rhythmical sort of stuff. I was accurate. Didn't make a huge amount of mistakes. I probably wasn't as fiery as Shane would have been. I'd imagine. But maybe there's a mixture of both. But I would say that Shane played guitar on as much as he could. As I say, I would put myself forward a lot to play stuff. Yeah. Because I really enjoy playing instruments of any kind, anywhere, at any time. You're lucky I'm not doing one now. So,
and you're playing violin on that track?
Yeah, I bought a violin from a girl at school for £2.50, and I had it forever until the soundpost fell out of it, and it got a crack in the front. But I really enjoyed doing that because it's tuned like a mandolin, so I knew roughly where the fingers were supposed to go. And all it was going from a D to a G probably, or maybe an A in there somewhere. So all you do is the top two strings in the D formation and the C. Or it's just moving two fingers, or maybe, two fingers and then taking one off for the next chord. It was really surprisingly easy to do, and as an effect, I thought it came across really well, particularly on Voice from the County Hell.
Explain the wolf whistlish hook on the chorus.
That's so. All right. So I wished it wasn't a wolf whistle because it's not.
That's what you say in the book.
Oh, do I?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, can't retract. I also loved playing slide guitar whenever I could. One of the job that I had on one of my Fearnley and Sons building sites in 1978, when I was earning the money to go and buy a guitar, one of my jobs was to sweep these empty apartments that had been finished in just outside Bolton. I mean, it was a pointless job, but the foreman said, "Yeah, we do actually need somebody to sweep dust around just to fill in the cracks between the floorboards." Which I thought at the time, oh yeah, okay then. But since it's like total bullshit. It's the boss's son gets the easiest job basically. So I had these empty apartments to sweep through. And indeed, a similar job at the Slade Art School. I had a job there sweeping up as well, and to have the premises to myself first thing in the morning. So I just whistled a lot, and I whistled. I knew how to do Duane Allman's guitar solos in most of the Allman Brothers live at Fillmore West. I loved the way that he played. It gets a bit shitty on Layla. I'm not keen on the way he plays on that. But throughout the Allman Brothers at the Fillmore West, it's just gorgeous to listen to the way he plays. And I was really thrilled to be able to replicate it with whistling. So, I mean, I'm not saying that the wolf whistle thing is actually a whistle, but it's me trying to channel Duane Allman in a sort of a slidey thing, at going into the chorus of Boys from the County Hell.
So I'm going to quote from your book, as I threatened I would. We made Transmetropolitan the first song on the record. Of all the songs, it was our mission statement, the brave and expository major couplets of the whistle and accordion melody, built up to a fanfare heralding what should have been the explosion of Shane's voice into the verse.
So here's Stan Brennan mucking about with his stupid studio toy thing. Well, it wasn't. It was to do the reverse echo, and it didn't work out the way that I'd heard reverse echoes before in a studio, like from the Beatles or whoever, Yes, or where it comes and it's right there.
Yeah.
But they put such a long delay on it that the reverse echo of the delay is miles away before the song actually starts, and it takes such a long time for it to get there, and it doesn't explode at all. It just and it's like, I don't know. Yeah, no, it was laughable. But that's just the way it was recorded. It was recorded with a massive, great big reverb on it, and switch it all around, thinking it was going to make a great statement, and in the end, no, it didn't at all. That was, lamentable.
Do you feel the urge to remix?
No, it's too late now, because that reverb will be printed already, and there's nothing we can do about it. Yeah, I mean, I dare say we could lop it off or put some other kind of reverb on it that's a bit shorter. But no, that's the way that it is, and it's glorious to have that. To me, a mistake. But if it's a mistake, why didn't we correct it at the time? But maybe it was felt that it was actually okay. I think we were willing it to be more of a statement, more of a particular statement than it turned out to be. But it's its own statement as well, which is kind of done. It's made a statement by mistake, if you know what I mean. It's like, it's kind of something endearing about it, that you should have this massive reverb that comes, slowly. It's hardly sweeping in. I don't know, there's something lovable about it, which I don't think I would ever tinker with. I think it's just the way that it is, and it's a treasure, the way that it turned out.
I'll continue.
Oh, sorry, I thought I was.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I did want to get you. I did want to ask what why did you say it should? So that's good. You covered that. You continue by saying, I loved Shane's kaleidoscopic lyrics, the street names of cafes, pubs, hostels. Valtero's was a cafe on Cartwright Gardens around the corner from Lee Street. Arlington House was a hostel round the corner from my block of flats in Camden, and at one time Brendan Behan's home. The Scottish Doors was a pub in the lee of King's Cross Station. Mill Lane veered between Shoot Up Hill and West End Lane in Hampstead. And then you guys go into a conversation of what's so pretty about Mill Lane. And you get a lovely window into the mixing room at that point. You also describe it as a generous and degenerate song. Can you explain that?
Well, I mean, we're going to go and beat people up, but well, not we. It's the narrative we. I mean, we're never going to beat up anybody as a real group of people. But the narrative we wants to go marauding through London. So that's the kind of what did I say? generous and degenerate.
Yes.
I think I was just being very clever with words, or trying to be there. I mean, that's the kind of degenerate part, is, the destruction that they want to do. But the generous part is like all the details of a town that Shanne both adored and loathed at the same time. From the fried eggs and the Tottenham Court Road ice creams and VP wine and cider and all that kind of stuff. It's interesting, that this song should, for all the stuff about, the Pogues, the mistake lots of people made or willfully made about the Pogues being Irish and all that kind of thing. This song and the opening song, the kind of mission statement sort of thing, is all about London. It's London, 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 London. And pretty much the rest of the album is about London. Yeah, indeed, there's Kitty is not. And I dare say there's I can't bring all the songs to mind at the minute. But that was the focus, I think, for most of the record. And pretty much the focus of Shanne's early part of his songwriting, even though that we would do the Irish traditional songs, and that's a love that predates the London one, I guess. But there's like the constant that runs through his life, but the one that's of immediate concern for him was always where he was living in London, or later on the where he was living in fucking Bangkok or whatever later on. But I don't really want to go there at the minute. We're not talking about those records.
Yeah. you also describe Shanne as the Pied Piper.
Yeah, no, of course, because like he's bringing he's bringing everybody along. Well, he's bringing me along as a listener to that song in particular, and the Streams of Whiskey as well. Like I wanted to drink as hard as him and get away with it, which I did. For bits. I mean, I've stopped drinking now because it became stupid when you get to your mid-60s and you're still behaving like a 20-year-old. So I've knocked that on the head. I feel much better for it. But he wasn't like a Pied Piper guy with the kind of veiled threat of the Pied Piper as well, taking all the children out of the town, as well as the rats. Do you know?
Yeah.
It's. I mean, one could go on about fairy stories like that and how much value that they have for everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was when Shanne was dying in the hospital in Dublin at the end of not last year, but the year before last now. I would have liked to have visited him, but I was in the West Coast and at the time, and it was just too much of a upheaval to go and visit with him. But Spider said to me, why don't you write him a letter? So I did, and it turned into a kind of thank you letter for Shanne taking me on a trip through life that I would not otherwise have had. And in a sense, if for me, he was always that kind of Pied Piper person who I'd, lots of times I'd follow him anywhere he wanted to take me. I'm just so grateful for what he did for me and my life. He was a hard bastard to work with a lot of the time, and a hard person to be with a lot of the time. But I've got nothing but gratitude for the trip that he took me on.
Brilliant.
And I'm getting all sort of throaty with that because it's loved him.
Oh, that's lovely to hear, James. Because at one point you did hate him. I
I did. That sounds like the hate would eclipse the love that I had for him. But I think the two things can exist at the same time. Maybe I hated him because I loved him so much as well. It sounds like a lot of flannel when it comes out of my mouth like that, but it's not flannel. It's he was a person that prompted quite a few emotions when you were in the same room as him, or working with him, or travelling with him, or on the same stage as him. It was a complicated experience. I deplored a lot of the stuff that he found himself getting into, but then there's so much else to rejoice about, and thinking, damn, I'm so happy to have spent that time with him.
James, I think your brotherly love for him came through best in the book for me whenever you defended him whenever Allie Campbell came onto your tour bus.
I can't. Yes, I can show it. No, I can't. Where did it? Oh, yeah, I can. So I've got this. This is an award that I was given. I don't know if you want us to take a screenshot of that. I wish I could get the whole thing in.
I can't. Let's see. Maybe you can send me a photograph. Oh, let me try one more time.
Yeah, right.
There we go. Oh, let me hang on. Okay, got it.
Okay, I can take a photograph of it if you want, but it says this was my last gig. Well, last gig in 1991. That Shanne actually came to, which was fantastic. Joe Strummer was there as well. I was given this award because I was leaving the band, and everybody else was staying on. It was Shanne had already gone, and it says the plaque on the bottom of it says "Sit down, fish face." Sit down, fish face. Love the Pogues. And I thought Allie Campbell had said "sit down, fuck face." But maybe I'm misremembering it or what. But that was in memory of me defending Shanne as best I possibly could against that brute at the time, who maybe Allie Campbell had some troubles of his own at the time, and I wasn't able to acknowledge those, or there wasn't enough time, or the situation would have been inappropriate for me to say, "Ali, sounds like you've got some problems of your own." I didn't have that time to do that. I just wanted him to stop beating Shanne up about whatever he was beating him up about, and I thought it was indefensible. So yeah.
Okay, so the Battle of Brisbane is an instrumental, and I'm wondering, how did Shanne convey this instrumental to the rest of the band? Did he sing it? Did he play it on the guitar?
Bit of both, I would say. I don't have any distinct recollection of.
Well,
of
talking
that.
generally about instrumentals or instrumental parts, would he sing them to you, or would he play them to you?
No, he would sing them. Maybe some of the instrumentals were already mapped out between himself and Jem to begin with, because I do remember going to that first rehearsal at Shanne's flat on Cromer Street, and the two of them had been working together in any case, because they were going out busking in various places, and that team was already established by the time I came into it, as indeed there was a team established between Shanne and Spider as well through the Millwall Chainsaws and that project. You're asking me to remember something that has totally and utterly gone. But when Shanne did outline anything, it was through guitar, backing himself up, singing whatever the tune would be. And then we would, I suppose, formalise it after that, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And can you remember the additional snare sound on top of the chorus? There's a metallic sound there.
Yeah, it's a cymbal, and I think we record. I know at the end where it sounds like it's just been somebody's lost hold of it because it goes at the end.
I thought that was a gong, actually.
No, it's a cymbal, so it is. And we went out into the corridor. I do remember this at Elephant Recording Studios, where there's like a metal staircase and concrete stairs. We probably recorded all of that cymbal out there. And then whoever it was playing it, Andrew, I would imagine, at the end, you just hit it out of his hand and it fell down the stairs right at the end. So we kept that noise because it sounded kind of funny. Mm-hmm. Or maybe we designed it to do that, possibly, maybe.
And, yeah, the old triangle. So was it Tin Whistle, was it recorded live or was it dubbed afterwards?
I don't know.
You said that you overdubbed the guitar.
I'm not even sure if that was an overdub. I think that song might have been pieced together. I know that I overdubbed the piano because Shane wanted me to play a tune that wasn't the old triangle tune, but it was another traditional air that he knew what it was. I had never heard it, and it came up in the studio, and I'm not sure if I got it right. Since working on that, looking at brass parts, for playing that song in at Hackney Empire last May, those putting brass bits together, I realised that the actual tune Red Roses for me, the song that I'm familiar with the Dubliners doing and nobody else, that tune actually goes with the Old Triangle really quite well. So maybe it was that tune that Shane wanted me to play on the piano. I'm still not sure, and I'll never know. Because there's something about the phrasing of the piano that he wanted me to do sounds just like Red Roses, for the actual tune Red Roses for me. But I do think that the guitar was maybe put down first. No, but if I'm there with the blanket over my head doing guitar, then I think it's obviously that must have been an overdub because I'm just there by myself.
Yeah.
I think as much as we could, excuse me, as much as we could, we did. We recorded everything as it was happening, and then if you could peel off and then come back with a decent whistle part or an accordion part or anything, we'd try and get everything down as well as we could, but then have separation within the studio. I'm not sure. I feel like I'm making shit up here because it was so long ago.
That's okay. Waxy's Dargle, you talk about the beer tray sounding puny, and you overdubbed it with
do I?
Do you remember what you overdubbed it with?
I think it's a mixture of. I think it is a beer tray. You're going to have to ask somebody else about this, but I think it's probably a cymbal as well.
No, you said it in the book. You overdubbed it with an anvil that you found.
Oh, indeed. Yeah, an anvil. Yeah, we had an anvil. So we did.
Where was that?
Why was that? Because
where was it?
Where was it? I don't know.
Yeah.
It just was there.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was some blacksmithery going on in the studios. I don't know, but I do. Yeah, no, I do remember the anvil. I have no idea where it came from. But sometimes there's a trouble with recording stuff. The sound that you imagine something's going to make is so much better than the actual sound that comes out of the thing when you hit it. There was some overdubs I remember doing for "If I Should Fall from Grace with God" with Lily White. Sorry, my phone's just going bonkers here. Yeah. to do a tom-tom thing on something. And Steve Lillywhite kept saying, can you not hit it harder? Just hit it harder. What's the matter with you? Can you just hit it harder? And I was hitting it as hard as I could. But the sound that we wanted just was not coming out of this instrument. You have to do your knobs and all that kind of stuff to get those things to sound the way that you imagine them to sound, or bury it in with some other noises. Yeah, anyway.
We talked a bit about Boys from the County Hell already. Do you want to say anything else that we...
the bass part we wanted to be like them, Van Morrison's Them.
Please Don't Go.
Please Don't Go. That's the one. And we found out just actually in the rehearsals for these for the Hackney Empire and playing in Dublin as well, that at the time when we first recorded it, we didn't have access to things like streaming services or iPods or anything like that. Any digital thing that we just bring it up. We want it to sound like this. Oh, what does it sound like? Oh, let's bring it up. No. So when it came to doing the bass, that we got caught. I mean, caught eventually wasn't able to do it because it was just too fast and the notes were too far apart. So I think I ended up doing it. It might have been Jem, not sure. To do the in the middle break. Turns out that them did that. Please Don't Go, just going from an E to an F sharp. It's just they're separated by one whole tone. And that's why it sounds so powerful, because it's so much easier to do. So we have Holly Mullineaux, who plays bass with the the Celebration of Red Roses for Me band. Figured out that's how you do it. Is just like a and it's as simple as that. If we'd known that at the time, Cott would have been able to play it, I'm sure.
What do you want to say about sea shanty?
I think maybe at the time I didn't know a whole load of Irish traditional tunes, songs much. So, and maybe that's part of the why I got on with playing them so well, is that I made it not so well, because I don't think I played anything particularly well, but I made it my own, if you know what I mean, because I didn't know how the tunes went, so I made them whatever it was that Shane had said was the tune, that I'd make it my own in some way. So I was glad of sea shanty to, I don't even know what the tune's called, and I've heard it played so many different ways, but that was my way of doing it. As an introduction to Irish traditional music, that album was great. And also the touring with Costello afterwards to listen to the tape that Darryl brought with over and over and over again, with Bothy Band on it and Dubliners and whoever else, and the words for that as well. They were scurrilous and about writing on shithouse walls, and there's the kind of character that comes forward from a song like that. It's just really, really, really great stuff. Really enjoyed those songs.
Dark Streets of London.
Yeah, well, that was the first single that we did. I think. Or was it Streams of Whiskey? I think Streams of Whiskey came out second, but I think it was Dark Streets of London. To take the title from what's his name? Let Me Take You Down the Dark Streets of London. Who's the singer who does that?
Ralph McTell?
Yeah, Ralph McTell. That's kind of cheeky and kind of fun as well, and the rain, and which is featured in Shane's songs up and down the oeuvre, as it were, and I enjoyed playing it live because of the way that you could repeat the tune over and 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 over again if you wanted to. That was always great to do. And again, the song being about London and how difficult it is, but how poetically inspiring a place like that can be. It's so fun, being reminded of how great these songs are, and also how great they were to learn how to do and how to get to know people and how to play together with people that I didn't really know. I knew Shane a bit just from working with him in the Nips, but I didn't know Jem, but then it turns out that we have a lot in common from the places that the part of England that we come from and the upbringings that we had. And to get to know Spider, Cott was always a kind of abrasive sort of person, but I got a thrill out of that too. Andrew playing hard to get to begin with and didn't want to join the band or was keeping his distance, and then when he came aboard it was like solid, a great socialist guy to work with. He was such a nice man. Anyway, yeah. Am I missing anybody? I don't know if I'm missing anybody.
Well, not from that album.
No, indeed. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So I'm going to quote from the book again. You're talking about streams of whiskey. It made me want to follow Shane wherever he went.
Well, here's the Hamlin thing again. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Like no other song I'd ever heard, it made me want to drink and drink like Shane drank. I wanted to go down to the Chelsea too, wherever that pub was, and walk in on my feet, but leave there on my back. I loved the recklessness and the bitter joy of the song. A fantasy in which Shane put himself beyond everything, beyond control, beyond authority, and which situated him almost mythologically in a place that seemed to share coordinates with the Big Rock Candy Mountain, cocaine and Chernonog, or it placed him inescapably in hell and more irretrievably than anyone could know.
Ooh, wow, what a passage that is.
And you wrote it, man.
What was I on?
I don't know, that's the question. What were you on?
No,
mescaline?
No, I was on Joyce, obviously, and whoever else, Flann O'Brien or yeah, I don't know. I do remember writing that, and
it's brilliant, everything.
Man. Sure, yeah, I did. Whatever Shane was up to, I wanted to be part of. At one time, that changed obviously, I've been on such a fucking trip with that guy, and with all the guys that I work with through him and including him. Crumbs, yeah, what a life! And it's not finished either; it keeps going.
No, yeah. James, I'm aware of the time. I'm going to try and go through it here quick. So, Per Paddy, Dingle Regatta, Greenland Whale Fisheries. Anything you want to say about those?
It's... I liked with Dingle Regatta that there was like a moment for... a perilous moment for me to, as an accordion player, to shine, even though I was by no means am I an accordion player who could call himself an accordionist, if you know what I mean. But it's kind of fun to be in a bunch of people where you'd get that moment. All right, James, you're going to do this by yourself in front of everybody, and don't fuck it up. And the number of times I fucked it up is beyond count. but there's something kind of endearing about that, how your chums are going to set you up for failure on the off chance that you're going to actually pull it off. And I think that's maybe one of the things that the Pogues were pretty good at as well, was to do something improbable, but kind of get it right, and bring so many other people along with them as well, just in the audacity of it. I don't want to say that we were groundbreaking. I think we probably were, but we didn't start off wanting to be groundbreaking. We just wanted to set ourselves up to see if we could make ourselves laugh and make ourselves cry as well, I suppose, at the same time with the things that we encountered or Shane encountered and brought to us and said, let's have a go at this. I'm spinning off on or riffing maybe on just me starting off Dingle Regatta, thinking I'm just going to fall through the ice at any second. What were the other songs that you brought? Oh, Green and Whale Fishery.
Yeah.
Great story. Again, about people going off to go and do something and then failing. Although I do think there's some. What's the last words of that? Because Spider pointed out to me that the story isn't one of trying something on and failing. Are you going to look up for me?
I am. Greenland whale fisheries. Oh, Greenland is a barren land, a land that bears no green, where there's ice and snow and the whale fishes blow, and the daylight's seldom seen.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm thinking of then. But we did an interview thing, me and Spider, with, can't remember his name, who does is it called the Three Castles podcast or something? Can't remember. Anyway, it just came up anyway with talking about the actual narrative of Greenland whale fisheries, and I thought it was more doom-laden than it might be.
Three Castles Burning podcast.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah.
Donald Fallon. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so whatever. I think I'm waffling a bit. Yeah, that's all I can remember.
What's amazing in the book is how the sound of the Pogues came into focus by sheer serendipity. I mean, the whistle being on his windowsill and you picking it up and you playing it, and then him dancing, and you can see he's intoxicated by the sound.
Well, I think he's intoxicated already, but but there's something that was amazing. That experience was. I think feels like we'd been out to the pub and come back, and then there's the tin whistle on the window ledge, and then the only tune that I knew on the whistle was can't remember what it was called, but it had my name in it, Jimmy, and how that just playing that tune just seemed to undercut such a lot of shit, and reach Shane at a place that I had never seen anybody get reached by anything. Just like, I don't know, it's sort of like stroking a cat. Do you know what I mean? It was really weird. Almost like, I didn't want to look. That's amazing. I've totally forgotten about that experience. That was fantastic. Yeah.
You should listen to your book.
I should do. All right, maybe I should just go and read it. It's maybe a bit quicker than having to listen to the damn thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Down in the Men. Sorry.
Down in the Men. Yeah. That was.
You have goat bells and you have hooves at the start.
Right, yeah.
So what are the hooves?
They were just like, as a percussion instrument, they're just dried goat hooves.
Right.
Sounds a bit macabre. But I think, I don't know where they came from. They happen to be there. And they seem to have, they fit in with the imagery of the actual song itself, to have some bit of a dead body that you're shaking around, making a noise. I guess that's was the idea somehow. oh, let's use these because it's a mysterious sound in any case, but it is, you know, the remains of a dead creature, and we're singing about people's remains in the actual song itself, from the Irish famine and stuff. So I suppose it was in keeping as far as imagery goes and everything. And that was kind of fun. You know, I don't know who had which instrument, but one of us, between me and Shane.
Shane had the bells, you had the hooves.
Is that what it says?
That's what you say.
Okay, then I'm going to say that's right, but it could have been the other way around.
I have a lovely quote here.
Oh, good, yeah, but I could have been making it up at that point.
Yeah. Shane and Spider were no slouches when it came to blood-curdling screams.
Oh my God, yeah. Oh God.
Shane howled until his eyes watered. A quiver shook Spider's entire body when he voided his lungs. When Cot came to the microphone, though, Shane and Spider's screams seemed to merely echo in the hills, where her screams vaulted the peaks, reaming the air, carrying with them, seemingly, every injustice visited onto the Irish since the 12th century, and more besides.
It's great. I've never heard it read out in your accent before, which is kind of nice. Wow. All right. You know what? I should write another fucking book, shouldn't I?
You should. Yeah. You should, because whenever I came to the end of your book, I was thinking, when is part 2 coming out?
Well, the part 2, I wasn't around for the part 2 because I left to come to.
But there is a part 2. You reformed.
There's a part 2, but somebody else is going to write that. I'm going to write something else. But no. The part 2 is dark.
Well, it's funny whenever you're talking about Transmetropolitan. I was thinking part 2 of that song is London, Your Lady. So there's nothing wrong with part 2 being very different to part 1.
But still loitering around the same time period and the same people and the same things, no.
Well, London, Your Lady is peace and love.
That's right, no indeed, yeah.
So it's quite further on in terms of timeline.
Well, yeah, true enough. I think, so people have asked about part 2, but...
Do it.
No, I seriously, I would have to... A lot of it would have to be by third-party reporting, if you know what I mean, because I was not there. I was there for the bits that I write about in Here Comes Everybody. But once I'd left, I can only go off what people are going to be able to tell me happened in the interim between the end of Here Comes Everybody and, let's say, the beginning of the reunion thing, unless I do the reunion thing and skip out all the stuff that happened in between.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, maybe. But then such a lot of stuff happened there. The Popes happened. Charlie Maclennan, our tour manager, died. Other people died.
You'll fit it in. You'll be able to just insert them in here and there, pepper it around.
Yeah,
you did that so well in the other one.
Okay, all right then. I'm not doing it.
No pressure.
You can't make me do it. I'm not doing it.
And no, I won't. So the last track is Kitty.
Yeah, which is to hear John Francis Flynn's version of that is amazing.
Yeah,
and he said that he didn't know where he found that, or he didn't know where he had heard it other than the Pogues doing it. There's a friend of mine, Dylan Walsh, who, I don't know if you're familiar with him at all, who lives in South North Carolina, just got devastated by Hurricane Helene, poor guy. But he seems to know something about the song that I don't. Can't remember what it is right now. So it's a rare song for some reason, but it's just totally gorgeous. And agonising to listen to. Yeah, amazing song. That's all I can say about that. And simple, really simple to do, in the sense of the parts are all there and the tune's all there and the words do this, and you don't have to faff around with it at all. It is like such a plain spoken song, with it we're just kind of messengers bringing it forward. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Who decided running order?
I'd say Stan Brennan would do, except it was mightily obvious that Transmetropolitan should be the first one.
Yeah.
I don't know what ends it. Does
Kitty.
Kitty? All right then, fine. Yeah, all right. Yeah. I think it was obvious that Transmetropolitan should be the first one. As far as running orders, and I can't do running orders. I don't know. I've tried it. I just don't have the knack for it at all. I can't do a set list to save my life. Nah.
Do you know, whenever I do a set list, I do 3 columns on a spreadsheet: familiarity, energy, and
all right.
And what's the other one?
Key. Key.
Yeah, key is important, obviously, but so you're able to build it up in terms of energy, and then you have your number 5s at the end.
No, I can't do it. I leave it to. Always left it to. Jem has always been pretty good at that. Shane's always been good, but sometimes unpredictable with doing it. With the group that I'm in now, the Walker Orders with Ted Hutt. Ted's really good at putting a running orders together. So's Mark Arell as well, the other guy I work with who used to be in Dropkick Murphys. He's good at it as well. Yeah, I stand back when it comes to things like that.
Do you know what would be brilliant? Is a list somehow, if it can be released, of tracks and who's playing what on the tracks, or at least what instruments are in the tracks. Because whenever I was listening to Transmetropolitan, I was thinking, is that a fiddle in there? And I never really, because I was listening with headphones and I was really paying attention to it. And then I heard that choo-choo sound, and then I heard you in the book, you were talking about your fiddle part, and I was like, wow, so he's playing the fiddle, okay. And then I heard you're talking about the slide guitar for the choo-choo part. So it'd be amazing if that information could be released. I don't know if you have it available or whatever, but food for thought.
No, I don't, but I could have a quick listen to the record after we've, or some in the next couple of days, let's say, and I could write down who I think is doing what.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, right.
Ricky. Yeah. So
as far as my memory will serve.
Allow. Yeah. Okay, James. I'm aware of the time. We've gone well over.
Amazing.
And your daughter needs the milk. So
yeah, you're right. Damn. Okay. And she's up.
So here, I'd love to do this again for Rum Sodomy in weeks or months, whatever is good for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'll be happy, more than happy to do it. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'll spot up in the book and I'll get you some more quotes.
Lovely. All right then.
Yeah, good man, James.
Yeah, nice to talk to you.
Okay, thanks very much.
I'll see you later.
Yeah, cool. Slan, bye. Thanks for listening to the Ireland podcast, celebrating arguably the coolest island on the planet. If you like what you've heard, we'd love it if you'd subscribe, share with family or friends, or maybe even leave us a positive review. Your support helps guarantee our future. Until next time, let us all celebrate the island!